Last week we used the table feature to make a monthly template that we could use for any month of the year. Today I want to show you how to take that same table feature and to make a weekly color block spread that you can use for any week of the year. Well, hi, I'm Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, and trying to live a more simplified life. At least that's the plan anyway. I'm so glad that you joined me today. I'm so excited to share with you more about the table features in OneNote. Now, last week we made a monthly calendar that looks very much like the one on my screen now. This is just a plain basic template that could be modified and used for any month. Today I want to show you how to take this monthly template with a few changes and a few tweaks and make it a color block weekly system that you could use for any week of the year. So let's get started. Okay, you see on my computer screen here that I have the monthly template laid out. We happen to make this month for April, starting on the 1st. The very first thing that we're going to do to get us started is we're going to grab this whole container by that gray bar at the top, and we are going to click on it. And when we click on it, we can then copy it. And I'm going to go down here. Now you see when I pasted that in the bottom of this page that the containers got much smaller than the original container. All I need to do is grab this top bar and see how it changes to the double arrows there. And I can just pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it until it's the size that I need. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, now one of the first things that I want to do is let's start off at the very top. Let's go up here and we're going to take out the word notes because we don't need that to say notes anymore. And we are going to keep the days of the week, but I'm going to highlight those because I want to make a few changes. I'm going to go up here to my home menu. I'm going to keep them as bold. That is fine, but I would like them centered. I realize that they are left justified at the moment. I want them in the center. Since April 1st is on a Thursday, I'm going to go down here to Thursday and I'm going to hit enter and type the number 1. Over to Friday, hit enter and type the number 2. And so on and so forth. That extra space there also gives me a place to add the weather, which I like to do, the high and low, and whether it's sunny or cloudy or rainy. Now if I come down to my next row, what I need to do is I need to take these numbers out of each of the days of the month. So I'm going to speed that process up. All I'm going to do is click next to the number and hit the backspace key to get rid of them. So let's get working. There we go. That's all cleaned up. Now we have 5 rows here, which may be fine. That may be all that you need, but I tend to like 6 rows. For all of the things that I want to track throughout the week. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom and I am going to add another row down here at the bottom. So all I have to do is put my cursor there and say on the table feature that I want to insert below, and that will put a new row along the bottom. You can see it down there. Now it only puts a single line row. All I need to do to make that bigger is to hit enter or to add something down there, which we will do in just a few minutes. But for now, I just want to get it established because I'm going to shadow or shade every other row. So let's start with that bottom one. We're going to highlight the entire thing, click and hold and drag across. Then I'm going to click the mouse, bring up the table feature and do shading. When you go to shading, you see all of these beautiful colors that you can use. There are standard colors, there are recent colors that you might have used, and there's also this whole entire color palette that you can choose from. I'm going to stick with the light purple that I've been using. And there's that. I like to shade every other row. So I'm going to highlight this next row up and also do shading. Wouldn't it be cool to do like a rainbow effect where each row is a different color? That would be pretty awesome. I may have to try that. And we'll come up here and shade this one as well. There we go. That's looking pretty good. And I'm also going to shade this one up here so that this whole entire sidebar is the same color. So this is a basic color block page layout where you have rows that are divided and separated by color. The purpose of these rows is to help you categorize and organize what you're doing. Some people might only like 3 rows where they have morning activities, afternoon activities, and then evening activities. Some people, if they're taking classes, let's say they have 4 classes that they're taking in school, they might want to have 4 rows, 1 for each class that they're doing. Some people might want to have a row for each person in the family. That would be a good idea to do that as well. In this case, I have 6 rows just because that's kind of the way that I like to organize my information. Now, before I get to decorating this and making it cute and pretty, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this template that we've just created and I'm going to move it onto my notebook background that I've been using throughout all of 2021. So let me show you how to do that. The first thing that you need to do is you need to come up here and highlight. Because we're going to cut this page in half, I'm going to put my sidebar Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on one side of my notebook. So I'm going to highlight all of that. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to come over here to my notebook template page. This is a background of a notebook that I made using PowerPoint. So I added the layers of the colors and the shading and the stitching and the paper and the outlining of the paper and the coils down the middle. I did all of that in PowerPoint and then saved it as a JPEG and brought it in to my OneNote. You can see if you click on this background picture, there's a little checkbox down here that says set picture as background. When you have something like this that you want to be on the page and not move around, you simply set it as the background, and then as I'm moving around on the page or adding things to it, that picture will not move. So I'm going to come up here to the top of this page and click paste, and you see that drops in the color block weekly format that we've been working on. Now I'm going to go back to that page that we were just working on, and I'm going to grab the second half of the week. So again, click and drag to highlight everything that I want to move. Right click and copy, and back to my notebook template. Come to this side of the page and click paste. Okay. Now, you see that when I did that, some of the cells that were empty in our table shrunk. They got small. They lost some of their extra spacing because they're no longer attached to this long row. That is not a problem. It is so easy to fix. Let me show you. The first thing that I want to do is I want to click and grab on my container and make it the right size. I'm going to make this sidebar a little bit bigger, simply by dragging it across, like so. And then I'm going to make this side also a little bit bigger. I can put something else in there if I want, but for now, I'm going to leave it just like that. Maybe even move this over a little bit. I always try to use as much space as possible. Let's see. Now, what I want to do next is the top section up here is for my top 3. Now, those are the big things that I need to get done during the day. So I'm going to label that top 3. Now, if I were using my paper planner, I would go and get some stars or some dots or something like that. But in this case, since I'm digital planning, I can do the same thing. I'm going to go over here to my personal notebook where I keep all of my stickers. And there's that sticker set that my daughter sent me for my birthday. And she drew all of these stickers by hand and sent them to me as a surprise birthday present, which I thought was absolutely wonderful. I also have included here a set of 3 dots that I can use for my top 3. So I can click on those and make a copy of those, take them back to the page that I was working on, which is right here. Now, because I already have things on the page, it's always a good idea to click and paste on the side. So there's that. Let me show you what might happen if you were to click over here and paste. Things might get moved around. They might not, but they might. So in this case, I'm always careful and I paste on the side. All right, so we'll take that extra space out. We'll move this one over, grab him, put him up there. Now, if you're having trouble getting it to go as close to the line as you want, see how it wants to jump from the line over? If you hold down your Alt key while you're trying to move that, you should be able to put it exactly where you want it to be. I don't need these lines, so I can go ahead and delete those. And we will add more dots. All right, now we have a space for our top 3 every day. We need to adjust that so that if we do this for next week, we will have a space for our numbers for next week. Get everything aligned. It's kind of nice not to have to worry about tearing up your paper if you have to reposition a sticker. All right, so we have our top 3. The next section down here that I like to do is any appointments that I might have. So I'm going to leave the lines there to write down the appointments that I have. The next section down will be the rest of my to-do list. OneNote has a pretty cool feature that's called tags. If you look right up here, you can see that there are a number of tags that they have that you can use to mark important events or questions that you might have, or definitions, or addresses, contact information, all of those kinds of things. You could even create your own custom tags if you'd like, which I have done. One of my favorites to use, though, is the to-do tag. And what it does is it gives you a little checkbox like that so that you can put items on your list, and then you can go back and check those off when you are finished. So I can do the same thing here. I can highlight my lines to write on and simply put the checkbox next to them. Now, you see when I added that, it's a little too wide, so I'm simply going to go in here and make my sidebar a little bit smaller. And let's get that last set of checkboxes in there for this side. And that still fits. We'll jump across and do this side. Will it do all of them at once? I don't know. Yay, it did! Wow, that's a time saver. Even I learned something new today. That's fantastic. You have an extra space in there. We'll take that out. It's looking good. All right, the next thing that I want to do down here is I want to track my expenses. I have been working very hard on my budgeting and watching where the money is going. And so a place to track my expenses is a great idea. So I'm going to leave that in there. And then this very next column underneath expenses is going to be for to contact. It seems like there are always people that you need to send a text to, or an email, write a card or a note, or maybe even do an old-fashioned phone call. or Zoom or whatever you're going to do. So a place there for people to contact. This bottom section down here, I am going to call food and exercise. It's just a place for me to log maybe how many total calories I have for the day, how much walking I did, how many steps I got, something like that. So I just need a small space for that. Okay, now comes the fun part. Now I get to play with those stickers again. Let me show you that sticker set. So this sticker set is a set that my daughter hand drew and sent to me for my birthday, and I intend to use them in every spread that I have for the month of April, which is my birthday month, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to start with the kitty cat, and all I'm doing here is highlighting the sticker that I want by clicking on it, right-clicking, choosing copy, go back to my page, paste on the side so everything doesn't move around again. I can make her bigger or smaller by clicking in the corner, and then I can grab her and move her to where she needs to be on the page. I think I'm going to put her right up here in my sidebar. There we go. So I'm going to speed this up, and you can watch me play with my stickers and design the page the way that I like it. One shortcut that I want to show you is going back to our April monthly template that we made. We did this design where we took the umbrella sticker and the April title and the year, and we made this kind of overlapping title. And so let's try grabbing all of those things together, since I like the way they look together, and see if we can copy that to the new page. I'm going to click on the container. I'm going to click the control key and the box for April, the control key and the umbrella, and you see that I have all three things highlighted at once. We're going to copy those, take them back to our page that we've been working on, paste them on the side, and they should still be in the right order. And we should be able to move them. Well, I got 2 of the 3. All right, now we have that. Now, in the sidebar, I'm going to put some dot grid. Let's go over to our personal notebook and back to our stickers, and I have some dot grid listed here. I have pages of dot grid, and I have some that are in horizontal position and vertical position. I'm going to grab this section of vertical dots, and I'm going to copy it. You can go back to my April page, paste on the side, and move that into position. And if I want that tulip to overlap, I could order him and bring him to the front. And you see he then overlaps that little section of dot grid. We talked last week about creating your own quotes. If I jump back over here to the personal notebook and go down to the spring section, you can see that I've been working on a few quotes. This is the one that we used on our monthly, grow through what you go through, which I thought was cute. This one says, what you water will grow. That's the one I want to use for this spread. So I'm going to copy that, take it back to my notebook, paste on the side, and move that into place. I can make it a little bit wider, and I'll adjust him once I get some of the other graphics in there that I want. This might be a little long. Let me make this a little bit shorter. and more sticker work. Speeding up, of course. I think that little pea pot is just so cute. Okay. You can create your own stickers in OneNote too. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have a friend who has some anxiety issues, and they were asking for an anxiety attack tracker, and they wanted to know if they could have a space to put what the trigger event might be. Then they could mark down what the level of their anxiety was, and they could also put any notes about what was helpful in helping them calm down, etc. So I created this anxiety tracker, but you see here I wrote a note to myself that it could also be modified to include pain or stress or any of those kinds of things. So I created this just using the draw feature and boxes and text boxes. Then I took a snapshot of it, which created a JPEG, which I have right here. So I have a JPEG of that. I also created one that's just empty, which is a great habit tracker. So let's take this over. This one's also a JPEG file. We're going to copy that, move it over to April. Try pasting at the bottom. It's a little bit shorter. Trip up. There we go. Hold down that Alt key so I can get him in place. There we go. Now, it looks like I have room for 2 of those here. Or maybe I want to put one of the other ones. Let's say I want to track my stress level. So I'm going to grab this one as well. Copy that, take it back. Paste down here at the bottom, and you see that looks a little big, but have no fear, we can modify that just like that. And actually I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller, center him. Let's see if I can't get 2 of them on here. Move him up. Copy that one, paste it down here, move him up here, see if we can bring our cloud to the front. There we go. Now maybe I want to move my cloud over a little bit. And I can move him down just a touch so that he's just kind of peeking over that corner. And then this whole box here I can make a little bit longer to encompass my trackers. So now I have 2 habit trackers. I can use those for any habits that I'm trying to establish or keep track of. Might be water, might be whether I walk the dog or gave the cat his medicine or whatever it happens to be that I need to track. I have 2 habit trackers for that. All right. In looking at my page, it looks a little off balance, and I'm noticing that I have an extra space somewhere. There it is. That will make that row the right size. We need to add an extra space here to make that row the right size. Let me see. I think I'm going to add another sticker. Elephant ears are one of my favorite plants. I love them. I have about 10 that I grow in pots, and they're already starting to sprout, sitting out in the garage. So they are ready to go outside. I am going to put this on there to remind me that he needs to go outside this month. There we go. And this is just so much fun. I really enjoy every week when I sit down to create my spread for the next week. I really have so much fun just doing this. But if there are weeks when I don't have time to do all of this fun decorating, all I have to do is copy and paste my page. The entire thing is there and ready to go. I change my dates and I'm off to the races, which maybe I'll show you in the next video because I don't want this one to be too long. But there you have that. It is all created on the desktop. Remember, it's always easier to create on your desktop and to use it on your iPad. What I'd like to do now really quickly is jump over to the iPad and show you how easy it is to fill in this habit tracker or these top 3 lists, that kind of thing. So let's get the iPad set up. I'll adjust the camera and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I have my iPad and my first generation Apple Pencil with a little bit of washi tape on it so I can tell it apart from my husband's. I brought up the page that we just worked on, and you see there's our cute little cat and our stars, all of that. Our plant that needs to go out, it's all looking exactly the same as we just saw it on the desktop. I'm going to go to the draw menu and I can choose a pen color. I'm going to go for a, not green, but let's go for a darker purple. Let's go for this darker purple. And for writing, our pen widths are here, and you can see that they get thicker as we go. I kind of like this width for writing, so I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to come over here and zoom in, and you see my dot grid there, and you see my habit tracker. I'm going to use this one to hydrate, to make sure that I'm getting my water, and I am also going to put down here my medication. Did I take my medication for that day? And I am hoping that I don't have to use the stress level one this week, that everything will be calm and cool and we will be good. So you see there, it's very easy to write on the stickers. And if I wanted to mark things off, there's lots of different ways I could do that. I could, put a line or an X through the day. I could go up here and choose a highlighter color that I wanted to use and simply highlight the day that I took it. Either way works. I can choose my purple pen color and I can come down here and in the notes section, needs refill. So I can do that. And for those of you who may not know, if you're writing something and you want to erase it, you simply can click on the eraser here and go back in, run your pen over what you want to erase, and that takes care of that. So that's that. I can go over here in my to-do box and I can write, choosing my pen again, need refill for my prescriptions. And then simply when I'm done, I can go in that box and it will check it off if I've completed it. Up here for my top 3, so I have these stickers listed here and I want to be able to write next to those. So my top 3 for Monday will be to go to the grocery store and to change the sheets and to go by the post office. So I can write those in that space. Down here for food and exercise, what I'm thinking is that I would like to write down the workout that I do. So perhaps I walked for 30 minutes on a particular day and my total caloric intake, I use the app FitnessPal to log my food, and so I just can write down my total calories here so that I can see how I'm doing with that. I have to make sure that I get enough protein. Okay. So now you see how easy it is just to use your Apple Pencil to write on those stickers and in those spaces that we created. Okay, so let's jump back to our desktop, and you will see when our desktop comes back up that all of the things that we just added on our iPad are now showing up here on our desktop. I can create on my desktop or use it on my desktop. I can also use it very well on my iPad or even my phone to add and track things. Well, there you have it. We took the monthly calendar and very easily modified it into it being a weekly color block. And now all we have to do for next week, if we want, is simply change these dates at the top, and the rest of our page is set up and ready to go. We don't have to redraw. We can use this same layout every week of the month if we want. Sounds pretty cool, huh? But I never do the same thing twice, so chances are I might change this next week just because I like to play around. It's kind of a cool hobby. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. If you found value or learned anything or just had a good time with me today, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. That's really the best compliment that you can leave me. And if you'd like to see more of my videos or find out more about what we do here at Crystal Clear Life, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd really like to know what kind of weekly spread you use. Do you use a traditional Happy Planner 3-block system? Do you like the color block system? Do you use a vertical or a horizontal? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to find out. I'm always curious and willing to try new layouts. Well, until next time, everybody stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.